was physically hit by something demonic. I just saw a big black semicircle at the end of my bed.
And I screamed and I did not want to go back into my bedroom.
And she said, no, I just saw my worst nightmare crawling along the floor. I heard a voice say, why aren't you worthy? You know, it was profound, and it's way better.
That's amazing.
Everyone feels very, very settled and happy now.
Hey, Fran, how are
Hi,
you?
good, thank you.
Tell me about your journey before knowing Jesus, what he's done in your life.
Yep. Okay, so I grew up in a family that wasn't particularly religious. Although I went to a convent school, my parents they didn't really do much. They didn't really take us to church very often. They maybe take us to church maybe at Easter or at Christmas. So we grew up, not really having much of a faith. And then once I started having kids, I think I grew more curious about religion, but I didn't really know a hell of a lot about it. And I would sometimes think about, using crystals and bits and pieces like that. And I was like, this is interesting. But apart from that, I was not really thinking about it very much. And then basically I have had my 3 daughters and my son. After I had my son, I think I got more and more curious and interested. I think the first thing that got me interested in the faith was I felt like there was always quite a bit of activity in each house that I would live in. So each house that I would go to, there'd be knocks and crashes and bangs and hearing footsteps, and I'd always be wondering about just the supernatural and stuff like that. And it kind of, I didn't know what was happening, and I would, sometimes I'd be scared, sometimes I wouldn't be scared.
And it just followed you every house.
Every
house.
What
was the worst thing that's ever happened at your house?
So the worst thing that happened would be at the house that we are currently in now. I was going to bed and I was physically hit by something demonic when I was going to bed. I wasn't asleep. I was just kind of lying in bed. It was dark. I was resting, but I felt something physically hit me on the foot. And in kind of shock, I kind of sat up and I was a bit like, maybe it's one of my kids coming into the room or something like that. When I sat up, I just saw a big black semicircle at the end of my bed. Wow. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I kind of lay back down again, and then I thought, no, hold on a minute, what was that? And I sat back up and it was completely gone. And it was terrifying because I didn't understand what was going on. My husband was asleep next to me. He didn't know what was going on. And I was physically shaking and had to turn all the lights on in our room. I just couldn't sleep all night. I couldn't sleep. So it was at that point I was like, there's something bad. Something bad's going on. At the same time, around that same time, my daughter Bonnie also had a really scary encounter. She was in the shower and she kind of saw a demonic face in the shower, which terrified her. So she kind of screamed to me and I just ran in thinking, not really knowing what was going on. And then she was crying, hysterically crying. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, no, I just saw something like terrifying in the shower glass. And I was like, oh, okay. So I grabbed a towel and was holding her and we were walking out of the bathroom and she screamed again. And I was like, what's wrong now? And she said, no, I just saw my worst nightmare crawling along the floor. It was like a demonic entity crawling along the floor. And she was trembling. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I just grabbed her and I ran to the opposite end of the house. And I was like, it's okay, Bonnie, it's okay. Let's just take a breather. Let's try and relax. And I was not sure what was happening. And I remember her big sister was there and her big sister was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't really know what's going on. It terrified her. And then once she calmed down, I tried to make sense of it, but there's nothing really I could do. There's nothing really I could say to make it better. And then around about the same time, again, my older daughter, she also saw like floating orb going through her into her room from the hallway as well. And she woke me up pretty terrified because she was like, Mom, I just saw something. She was always nervous going to bed after that for a while. Wow. So I knew there was something nasty in the house.
And how did you deal with it? So you know it's supernatural. You know it's not physical. What came to your mind to deal with this?
Okay, so first of all, because I didn't really know what to do. First of all, I actually had a friend who I knew was a psychic. And I was like, you know what, maybe she can shed some light. And she came, she was a friend, so, you know, she didn't charge or anything like that. And she came to the house, but she brought along her other friend who I think had been a psychic for a much longer time. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Maybe you guys will shed some light on it. So they came, and immediately her friend, she just looked really sick and really, really in pain. We were sitting down and we were chatting about what was going on, and I was like, are you okay? She was like, no. It's like, whatever's in this house is affecting me. I've got the most horrific headache. Wow. It's trying to push me out. But what we'll do, we'll just try and walk around the house and say these prayers, and we'll just see what will happen. Anyway, they came and they said, look, what we do here might actually make it worse. And she was like, your husband's around? I was like, well, no, actually, he's been working away, which is also why it was so stressful, because I was by myself in the house. Yeah, wow. I was like, well, he'll be back, I think, tomorrow. And she was like, just be aware it might get worse tonight. And just because, you know.
What is the point of that?
Yeah, I don't know. And I was like, well, I thought you meant to help. Yeah. I don't know if you meant to, like, get rid of it. Luckily, that night, everything was quiet.
They use sage?
They use sage. Yeah, they did all that kind of stuff. And then they left. It kind of quietened, but it never kind of disappeared. There'd be a time where it would mimic stuff. The kids would be fast asleep, but you'd hear one of them talk to you, like, right next to you. And my husband at this point was still kind of disbelieving, thinking we're just being dramatic and that it's just all in our heads. So I said to him, no, you were out, my husband was out, and the kids were all asleep, and my daughter had a friend over. I vividly remember I was watching TV in the front room, and I just heard someone go, Fran, really clear, like super clear, like they were like right next to me. And I was like, oh, that's Hannah. This is the girl who was sleeping over. So I immediately like got up and thought, oh, you know, something's wrong. You know, she's awake or whatever. Anyway, I go into her room and nothing. They're snoring. They're like out cold. Wow. And I'm like, no, that's not right. And immediately I was like, okay, this is freaking me out. And then it happened to my husband.
Wow.
So I was out.
Yep.
So finally it happened to him, and he
freaked out.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
So he thought it was Bonnie. So everyone was asleep. He was in the front room, and he heard someone going, Dad, like that. But very, very like close. And he was like, oh, I think it's Bonnie's up. Why is Bonnie up? So then he walks down our hallway. Everything's dark. Everything's quiet. And she's snoring in her bed. And he immediately messages me when I'm out with my friends. And he goes, I've heard it. I know what you're talking about now. I was like, yes. Okay, now you know what I'm talking about. It terrified him, but he was like, didn't really know what to do. So he just said that he was just like, in his mind, like, get out, get away. You're not wanted here. And I was like, okay, well, let's see if that works.
Yeah,
I was like,
we've tried a lot now.
work. Yeah, that's it. So then the psychics who came, there's a few times I asked them to come back and they never did. I think I bumped into my friend and she insinuated that I think it had followed her back to her house and it was mucking with her. So I think she was very reluctant to come back.
And do you blame her?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I was like, go for it. You know what? I'll figure it out. So then my next port of call, I went to the pastor at our local church who we were going to. We were trying to go regularly, but it wasn't as regular as I wanted to. And I spoke to him, beautiful Pastor Sonny, and I was like, can you please help? Because I don't know what to do. And he was like, of course, I'll come. I'll come to the house. I'll bless the house. We'll say some prayers and we'll see if that works. And at that point, he was like, put crosses in every room. And I was like, oh, good idea. Okay, well, I'll do that then. So I put crosses in every room and things did quieten down when I did that. But I knew deep down that it wasn't over. I kind of had that deep feeling. I was like, oh.
You know, it's surface level, but it's going to help.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think it kind of gave me a little bit of peace as well. Like, oh, this is hopefully going to do something. So I put crosses in all the kids' bedrooms, my bedroom, each living room. And then he came over, blessed the house. We talked about it. And he himself had done it previously for other people. So he was like, we'll try this and see how it goes. And things quietened down further, which was good. But then you just knew it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was completely clear. Like I could kind of sense that there was still bangs happening here and there. There was still knocks, like wine bottles just clanging together randomly. You just kind of go, oh, okay. You have to put it to the back of your mind sometimes. Just go, you had to try and go, almost pretend it wasn't happening.
Did you ever, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
did you ever feel like, I'm going to move? Or you loved the house and you're...
I love the house so much. And actually, a friend of mine said, I would have just gone. I would have packed up my things and just left. I was like, yeah, but what if it followed us?
Yeah.
Like it's clear that it's been following us like throughout this whole time. Probably through my time of doing tarot cards and psychic readings. So
you've been doing that too. You've dabbled in all of that.
Dabbled in all of it, thinking it was just a bit of fun and great. This is wicked. And I think that was my way of trying to find, I don't even know, trying to know what's going to happen in the future, trying to get some sort of peace of mind or whatever, but looking in the wrong direction. And then I was like, I didn't realise until afterwards, until all this was happening. And then I spoke to lovely Mel, finally reached out to Mel, out of desperation, because I was like, this isn't stopping. And the one of the last things that happened to Bonnie was dancing, making videos in her bedroom, and then she suddenly saw some orbs going past. Like she rewatched it and saw some orbs going past on the video. And at that point, she didn't sleep in her room again for about a month. And at that point, it was, no, I'm desperate here. This is now affecting. It's been affecting us for too long, and we've tried lots of different things. So then I was just Googling. I was actually Googling like exorcisms and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. There's nobody I can see who does these things. And I came across Mel and the ministry, and I just messaged her on Facebook going, I don't know if you can help, but is there any chance that you know what the hell is happening in this house? Would you come out? And she was amazing. She kind of talked me through the process. She was like, look, it sounds like you need to do some work. It sounds like you've opened up too many doors and they're around you, and you need to shut those doors now, and you need to do a lot of your own personal work. And I was like, well, how do I do that? So then she sent me like, YouTube videos of like how to just like repent of all the stuff that I've been doing, the videos of how to forgive people and how to Did that include giving your life to Christ? Yeah. So basically we then did a video call, and she was doing a deliverance over the video call. We were renouncing all these things, and there was a point where I was like, I wonder if this is going to work. And I was, kind of on the fence. I'm like, I just don't know. I wonder if this is going to work. And then we would be renouncing things and renouncing fear. And suddenly I just felt like I was going to vomit. I actually was like, I grabbed a bowl because I was told to get a bowl. And I was like, why would I need a bowl? Okay. Yeah. And I was just dry retching into this bowl for no reason. Wow. And it shocked me. The spirits were coming out of you that have entered from all the dabbling, crystals, New Age. Yeah, that's it. And it was a profound experience. And it happened a couple of times. And I genuinely thought I was going to be sick. Yeah. But I wasn't. And then after that. Did you feel better? I know it goes with deliverance. It takes a few days. Yeah. To really feel yourself again. I definitely felt better. It was weird because I felt a churning. When she was doing it, it was this awful worm-like feeling in my stomach. And then finally, the minute I started to dry retch, the feeling completely left. And I was like, it was bizarre. Yeah, it was eye-opening. Didn't think it was you. No, not at all. So then I felt like massive guilt, like, oh my God, I've been dabbling in all this. All this, this is because of me. So I was like, right, okay, so I need to do the work. I really need to like focus on this. And then Mel said that she was happy to come out to the house with yourself. Yeah. And, went around the house and prayed and moved all the bits that we needed to move out the house. But then she was clear. She was like, baptism will help. And I was like, yep, I want to do that. I really want to do that. It just took a while. It just took a while to kind of get there.
That's quite normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get a lot of opposition as soon as you give your life to Christ.
Yeah.
The enemy doesn't like that.
Nah. So I felt like there was a lot of tugging. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. But then another half of me was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, why am I being so pulled in two different ways about this? It was very bizarre considering that I wanted it because I knew it was going to work. I knew it was going to help. So, that was also
a journey in itself.
A journey. Yeah, that's it. And then during this journey, whilst this was happening in the house, Bonnie's hearing suddenly started to deteriorate. I realised that she was listening to the TV really loud. And we were having to speak to her really loudly. And I was like, what's going on? We don't have any hearing issues in our family. But we went and got her hearing test. And they were like, no, she's got quite significant hearing loss in her left ear. And I was like, okay, that's very strange. So then we were like, let's just keep an eye on it. So we'd have regular hearing tests. It was around Christmas time. And they were like, no, she needs a hearing aid in that ear. She'll be struggling at school. And she was putting up with it. She was kind of handling it. But she needed the hearing aid. And then we kept on, deep down, I was like, is it linked? Is this all linked? So then I was like, maybe it's just, maybe not. So we'd have the regular hearing tests and her left ear kept on getting worse and worse. Wow. And then her right ear started to go. And they were doing MRIs, tests, everything to try and figure out what was causing it. And they couldn't give me an answer. They just assumed it was just maybe a degenerative nerve issue, and to the point where it was going down rapidly. And I was looking at like cochlear implants, in the future thinking she's going to need this. If this is how fast it's progressing, I was like, this is significant hearing loss.
All at the same time.
Yeah, all at the same time as this. And then she was having hearing aids in both ears. And it was a lot. It was a lot for her. And she was going, why? Why is this happening to me? And I was like, I don't know, darling, but we'll figure it out. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe you and me need some healing. We went and saw the healer, Mark Heeman, and he prays for everyone and goes around and asks people what you need healing for. I said, we're here because I think there's some spiritual warfare going on in our house, and Bonnie's hearing is deteriorating rapidly and I want her to have some healing. And he was like, he looked at her and he was like, she's very special, And I was like, I know. And he said, they're going to attack her a lot. And I looked at him and I was like, it was the first kind of realization. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So he said to Bonnie, you do realize that Jesus loves you, don't you? Bonnie looked at him and she was like, no, like that. And when I know that she knows that that's not the case, but looked at him almost with a bit like, no, like real, just nothing there.
Yeah.
And he looked at her and he was like, okay. And he goes, well, he does. And then put his hands on her and she just immediately just burst out into tears, like trembling, burst out into tears, and he prayed over her.
Wow.
And I was shocked at her reaction because 1 minute she's like looking at him like, whatever. And the next minute she's trembling, shaking, crying, and I'm just like grab her because I'm thinking, oh God, are you okay? And as he's praying over her, I feel this warm, almost like ball-like fluidy feeling go through my arm and into my chest and expand out on my chest, and it knocks me back, like the force of it kind of knocks me back. And I nearly fall into my chair. And I'm just like, what was that? Yeah. You can't really explain it, even though I'm trying to. You can't really explain it very well. And then I was like, and I said to him, oh, I felt that. And he goes, you did? And I was like, yeah, I felt it. And he was like, that's God's grace coming over you. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I was shaking. She was shaking. And so we left. And it was late at night, so Bonnie was asleep in the car, and I was just crying, kind of just didn't know what had happened. I was just like, it was just very profound and
supernatural.
Yeah. Then we got home, Bonnie went to bed, and in the dark, I just couldn't stop crying. I was actually
getting deliverance.
Yeah,
yourself.
I was out. I could not stop, even though I wanted to. Like I just could not stop. So I remember like being on my hands and knees on the floor in my bedroom, just like crying, and kind of asking like, you know, I was kind of saying, you know, I'm not worthy. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I heard a voice say, "Why aren't you worthy?"
Wow.
And
That's
that was
Jesus.
it. And
That's
that was
Jesus.
it. And then I couldn't stop crying even more. And I was
That
like,
is so special.
this is madness.
Yeah.
And even now thinking about it, I get upset because I'm like, and then like
Special.
the whole weekend, I was just crying on and off.
Yeah.
Like just crying and trying to tell my husband what happened. And
He probably didn't understand.
No, and he didn't. And my other daughter, she was like, "What's wrong with Mum?" You know, she was like
Yeah.
going off, getting all teary. And I was like, it was profound.
Bonnie, tell me what Jesus has done for you in your life.
Well, he's helped me along the years because when he, like, obviously prayed for me at the place that we went to, it made me feel way better about all the demonic stuff that has happened in the house. It's a relief to have peace and know that he's with me, like, every step of the way.
Can you tell me some of the demonic things that have been happening that scared you in your house?
So definitely the shower one. So I was just like putting shampoo and conditioner in my head and I was like looking at the reflection in the mirror and this creepy, like it was me in the mirror and it's just me having this really like weird smile when I wasn't smiling or anything. It's like I obviously got Mum and I was like hysterical, like crying. And so she got me into my bedroom and I got into my PJs, came back out. I peered into the bathroom and my worst nightmare was on the toilet. And
what was that? Tell me what you saw.
well, I don't really know the name. It's just I've seen it before. It's like a grey person and black hair that's like covered the face and like a white cloth. And I screamed and I did not want to go back into my bedroom.
Did you know to turn to Jesus or you didn't know him then?
I definitely knew him then, but I didn't really think about him. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that Mum was like the only
One that can help you.
Yeah, because I wasn't that connected to him then. I didn't really know what was going on.
And how did you connect with him?
Well, it was like maybe a few months later that I started to realise, like once we went to church and all that stuff, then like when Sonny, the person who cleansed the house or whatever, he kind of taught me the way. And when we had the meeting, I kind of understood what was happening. And then like ever since then I've built up to Jesus and I've like known that everything's going to be fine.
And what did Jesus do for you and your house?
Well, he got all the demonic stuff out the house. He delivered me in a way then, but I feel like now I've done more like praying. He's like, it's way better.
What would you tell other children that don't know Jesus and they want to know him?
I would tell them just do what you want and like don't let other people take you down on whatever you think about Jesus. Just do what you want.
That's beautiful. If someone wants to know Jesus, is it just talking to him? How does it?
Well, you can talk to him, and what I do in school, since none of my friends are Christian or whatever, or like anything to do with God, but they know that they believe in God, they just don't follow it. And what I do, like when I'm ever feeling stuck, because my friend group's like really small, and it's just hard to like get along sometimes. So I just like do little prayers in my head. Like I don't have to like say out loud. And I just, it helps me.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So that happened and I felt great afterwards and, you know, I was elated. I was happy it happened, but also I was like, oh, wow. Now I know this is real. You've
had your encounter with Jesus.
Yeah. This is serious. This is real. And, you know, no one is really understanding what I'm saying here.
I understand. Yeah. It's so personal and you try and tell everyone, but they don't understand.
Nah. Especially a husband who's not particularly religious and kind of just, you know, he understands what's going on in the house, but he... And
that took him a while. He had to have his own experience and encounter.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. So after that, my faith just grew and grew because I was like, there's no denying it. So, you know, and obviously I was wanting to build my kids' faith up as well, you know, going to church and trying to pray with them more and discuss the Bible, all that type of stuff. When that happened, which was great, you know, Bonnie's hearing she was still wearing the hearing aids, but we were hoping for,
A miracle.
Yeah. It was probably a few months after that. So I booked to have the baptism with Mel and you guys at the beach. A few days beforehand, I do a fast. I was fasting for a few days and thinking, just wanted to prep myself, and also hoping for, I had Bonnie's hearing test the next week. So I was like, you know what, I'm really just going to pray and fast for her. Pray and fast that we're going to get good news next week for her hearing test. And I was horribly ill on the day 3 of the fast, like bedridden. So I was like, I was so angry with myself. I was like, I really wanted to do like at least 3 days and really show that, really wanted to
Be committed like that.
Yeah. We had the baptism with Mel and you guys, which was amazing. Felt amazing when it happened. And then 3 days later, we had the checkup on Bonnie's ears, and Bonnie's hearing had improved massively.
Wow.
And me and Bonnie just looked at each other and we were like, sorry. Like, just shocked. Like,
yeah.
It's improved. And she goes, even the lady was shocked. She was like, had to double check. She was like, yeah, it has improved. And, she go, and I was like, is that normal? She was like, well, obviously if there's a reason for your hearing to go, like if you've got grommets, then you lose your hearing, then you gain it back again. Or if you've got fluid behind the ear, then that would make sense if the fluid's gone. But she goes, no, you don't see this. And I was like, really? And I was like, Bonnie, I was like, this is
what a miracle.
This is a real miracle. And, we were in tears afterwards because we were like, this is amazing. This has worked.
Beautiful. And what did Jesus do also with your hearing?
Well, it started when we went to the place where, I can't remember his name, but he went around, he put his hand on my head, he delivered me. And then also we went to this other place, it was like down south somewhere, and we went to this other place and they were really good. They held my ears, did loads of prayers. I also cried then. Yeah, it started healing my hearing. When the hearing started to get better, every time I would walk out of there, me and my mum would be like so emotional, like full of like happiness that my hearing is getting better. And now that I don't have hearing aids, it's really nice because it's just...
That would have been really hard wearing hearing aids because you used to have good hearing. Then it went bad. You couldn't hear. And then after knowing Jesus and going down that journey with him, you got healed. So you don't wear any hearing aids anymore?
No.
And you can hear really well?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Considering I think I was 4 or 5 when it happened and I had to get grommets and then they fell out just like normal, and then it was good for I would say a year or so, and then it just started to go down and then it went back up and it was really good.
That's amazing. We got your breakthrough.
We got the breakthrough that we wanted, and then every single hearing test that we've gone to so far has improved, and now she doesn't need to wear her hearing aids anymore.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
God's great.
So it's been a journey.
That's amazing.
It's been a real journey, but it's been an amazing journey.
So did you always have the faith in your heart that after your encounter with Jesus that he can help?
I did. You know what? I was like, no, you know what? He's here and he's listening. And so I really put all my efforts into praying every night and making sure that the kids know that
he's
real, and you just need to keep praying about it because this is... Yeah.
This is everything.
It is. And, it's been a lonely journey though.
Very lonely journey.
Yeah.
It always is like that.
Yeah.
My journey was very similar. I just want to take you back to when we went to your house.
Yes.
And especially in all the girls' rooms, Bonnie's, we got rid of all the mermaid kind of stuff. Anything that is...
Yeah,
all the shells.
Shells.
Yeah.
One thing Jesus highlighted was in your room, one of the shells.
Yeah.
He said, take a photo of that and send it to someone you know who's in new age because her house is going through a lot, going through a lot of things keep happening in her house and in her life, and she wasn't aware. She was recently coming to Christ in that scenario, but I took a photo. It was such a particular shell and I sent it to her, and she knew I would not know anything about what she has. But I sent her and I said, this is what God wanted me to show you, that you have this in your house.
Yeah.
She was amazed. It was in her garden. She had a whole heap of them to clear the house,
really?
and she just threw it out straight away, knowing only God would know that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just shows even when we come, this is how God's Spirit is.
Yeah.
It helps everyone.
Yeah.
It's not just one person, and
Yeah.
He shines the light
And that's
to our
it.
feet.
And I think once I started talking about our
Encounter.
experiences and our encounters and stuff, people have been a bit like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, these things, all the stuff that's happened in your house has been the same. You know, they've had similar things happening, and they've been like, but they would never have spoken about it if I hadn't have brought it up and said, guess what's been going on? And then suddenly they're like, oh, wow. And then I told them about getting the baptism, and then Bonnie's hearing suddenly miraculously getting better. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real. Suddenly there's more dialogue around faith and religion and stuff like that. It's been really nice that I don't have friends who just shut the conversation down. I'm very kind of anti.
Yeah, because
anti
you were
it.
on that side at one point too.
Oh yeah, didn't really care for it.
No way.
Not really
Until it
bothered by
happens to
it.
you.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it. I feel like this was our journey. We were meant to go through this
Definitely. To find Him.
To find Him and to have and find peace as well. I feel very peaceful in the fact that, you know what?
God's got this.
He's on our side.
He's with you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I remember also when I was at your house, Mel was praying on Bonnie's ears.
Yes.
I remember that
Yes.
moment. I saw it and I was like, go, Mel.
Yeah,
go
that's
for
it. Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes things don't happen immediately.
No, and that's what I found. I found that, you can't expect an immediate change. You know, I think if things are going to happen, they're going to happen when they're supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was beautiful when we got the results. But I think we needed to go through all those steps and build that faith before we got that amazing hearing result. Because we were like, you know what? Yeah, it was worth every bit of it. So it's been great.
That's amazing. And, you know, it's not about only her ears being healed, her hearing. It's about knowing Him and bringing Him into your house and sharing Him with your family.
Yeah.
Because what is the point of that if God just heals her ears and her hearing, but no one knows Him?
That's it. Yeah. I try as much as we can to take the kids to church, to build that faith within them, even if sometimes my husband can be a little bit against it or just not understanding it as much. And you know, that can be isolating in itself. You know, when you've got, you know, husband and wife who are coming from different angles and you're like, oh, okay, we might be butting heads on this one, but I'm not going to take them to church because you're not coming with us. I was like, they're coming. Like, we're going. You know, this is my tribe and we're going to build this faith because it's not just me that's had these experiences. These kids have had their own profound experiences, and this is what's helped. Since all this has happened and the baptism, the house is quiet.
Wow.
Yeah.
All gone through the blood of
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
it.
He's
Yeah, that's it.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what?
Wow.
I suspect maybe there will always be some sort of spiritual warfare going on. Maybe we're just more in tune, or maybe there's, I don't know, maybe, but whatever happens,
God's with you.
yeah, that's
and
it. And I'm
you've
not,
got
I'm not
His
fearful
authority.
anymore.
No.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not, he's there.
Yeah.
He has authority over the house, and I know that we are going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, whatever happens. So,
And nothing's happened since.
no.
It's gone quiet.
Yeah.
Everything's been kicked out through
That's
through
it.
Him.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the power He has.
yeah.
He showed you, not only did He deal with the problem in your house, He made Himself known to you.
Yeah.
And now you have salvation and you're living for God and
Yeah.
sharing your testimony that's going to help so many people
Yeah.
and reach those people that are going through something very similar.
And that's it. I hope it does reach those people, because it is a scary place.
Absolutely.
When you don't know what's going on. You think you're going a bit crazy
Yeah.
and you think people aren't going to believe you. But actually, when I start talking to more and more people, loads of people are going through the same thing. They're having either physical encounters with things or hearing things, or people are having people say things in their ears, and you're like,
What is that?
You need to deal with that.
Yeah.
You need to now think about your faith and start rebuking all that, because this is serious stuff, and it affected our lives for ages. So now it's way better.
That's amazing.
Everyone feels very, very settled and happy now.
That's awesome.
So it's good.
And if that psychic hears this podcast,
Yeah.
we want her to reach out.
Yeah.
'Cause we can help her for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah.
And
No,
she can get the
exactly.
freedom and receive what God has for her.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I don't think she'll ever come back to the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, poor thing. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Sure.
Amazing. Can I just ask one more thing? What's your life like now when you gave your life to Jesus?
Oh, you know what? The peace that I feel now is amazing. It's been lovely now, feeling that
His presence.
he's here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. He's
And
here.
where are you finding his presence?
Sorry.
Where do you feel his presence on you,
Oh, I think just here,
Yeah.
just
in your soul?
yeah, that's it. I know that whatever's going to happen is what's supposed to happen. This is the journey that we're supposed to go through.
You wouldn't change it for the world, would you?
No, and I think that's sometimes what my husband can't really quite understand. He's like, oh, he doesn't quite get it. I'm like, oh, but I hope you get it one day. I hope you
Pray for
find
him.
that. Yeah,
Because it is
every
a treasure.
every night I pray that he will get there and he will have his moment of realization, because I was like, you know what, this is me.
Yeah, and how
And
how
I'm
much
not
have
gonna
you changed?
change. And he's like, oh wow, I think maybe he thought,
Short term.
it's a short term thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, this
No,
is it.
this is
This
it.
is it now.
This
And
is
I
the
think
new you.
he's trying to make sense of it. And
Yeah.
I think maybe seeing us and seeing the kids' faith, and he'll be like, oh, okay, maybe it'll help build his faith going forward. So yeah,
Wow.
I think it's been good though. Really good.
What a journey.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for sharing that
Pleasure,
with us.
pleasure.
Thank you.
No worries.
Amazing.